We talk all the time about shame, toxic shame, getting shamed, shame spirals, fat shaming. But what do you actually do about shame? Depending on who you ask, shame is just something that other people put on you or that they do to you, and then maybe you internalize it. But I believe it's more of a mix. It's shame like that, the kind that comes from other people's judgment, and then the kind that is earned, if you will. Shame that we genuinely feel about things we regret, things we said or failed to say, or ways that we acted. And these two kinds of shame, when they get mixed together, they're confusing and they get tangled up into kind of a toxic mix that's really hard to take apart. But if you can break them apart, if you can put them in two piles, what other people think is wrong with you, where you think you fell short, you can start to detoxify that shame. You can sort it, take action on the things where you wish you could have done better. And, it's not your fault that you were hurt as a kid or that it became hard for you to handle yourself in the best way possible. That's really normal. But we don't want to walk around in that toxic cloud of shame, either denying that there's anything wrong or completely turning it against ourselves. We want to be real about it. So no matter what we've done, the best thing that we can do is clear it up. And the more you work on that, the earned shame, the part that you actually feel bad about, the more that toxic cloud just kind of loosens up and evaporates, and you break out of that confusion. And for whatever reason, being clear and feeling better about yourself just kind of repels, it just pushes away that judgment from other people. Or if they do try to shame you, it just doesn't get internalized because you know that your house is in order. And wouldn't that feel good? I'm Anna Runkle, also known as the Crappy Childhood Fairy, and in this video, I'm going to lead you in a guided relaxation. It's not a meditation exactly. This is relaxation where you will have your eyes open most of the time, and you may even be writing some. And I'll help you take some easy steps to notice where you're feeling shame, and then to kind of sort it into those two piles I talked about, where you can start to see what's going on, and then loosen the grip of both kinds of shame. And you'll come out of this with an action plan, all right? So to get started, you'll need a pen and paper where you can make some notes. And ideally, you would want a big full-size pad of paper with a firm back so that you can write while you're sitting somewhere comfortable, a bed, a chair, a sofa. And it's totally fine if there's some noise around. You just maybe want to turn off your notifications so you can focus for a little while. And you're just giving yourself time to consider where you might be holding some shame in your mind. So now that you're sitting and you've got your pen and paper in hand, I'd like you to close your eyes for a moment and just kind of feel the weight of your body in the chair and your feet on the floor. And just take a few moments there to feel yourself here in present time. Not remembering much necessarily, not looking for things, not anticipating what this exercise is going to be about, but just kind of hanging out and just feel yourself being right here, right now. That's your power position. Okay, now open your eyes and see if you can just keep feeling yourself in the chair. Just kind of stay with yourself, not getting dysregulated, not worrying about how you're going to do this, just feeling easy in yourself, breathing in and out. And now I want you to take the pen and paper, open your eyes, and write ways that other people have made me feel ashamed, okay? You're going to be thinking of things and writing them down that bother you. And it's nothing to fear. It's just a list of things that already bother you. You don't have to bring up anything dreadful or conjure anything that will be sufficient to put on the list. Just, ways that other people have made you feel ashamed. You can write big general things like, people think women my age don't know anything about technology, and now I dread asking questions on support calls. I have that. And you might also write very specific things like person X told everyone I was difficult to work with and people stopped inviting me to be on teams. Or Sharon in second grade said I was stupid. You can be specific like that, but just stuff where other people made you feel ashamed and it affected you enough that you even remember it now. So just take some time to write things other people have done and said that make you feel ashamed. If you're over the shame, don't worry too much about it. You can use this time to just write the things that still have a little charge in them, that are still bothering you. Okay, so Just get 3 or 4 ways that you've felt shamed before. And if you have more, that's fine too. They don't need perfect grammar. They don't have to be handwritten nicely. Just jot them down. And I'll give you a moment to do that. And then I invite you to close your eyes for a moment to just see if any other ways you've felt shamed pop into your mind. You don't need to get them all right now, but if it's in your mind, write it down. Try to have 2 or 3 at least. More is okay. It doesn't need a lot of detail. And then open your eyes. And sitting with your eyes open, I invite you to take a new piece of paper. And on this one, you're going to be writing things that you feel you did that make you feel ashamed. So maybe you know very well you feel ashamed about something you said or did, and you can write those things down. Maybe you're a bit fuzzy on whether your feeling of shame is appropriate or not. And actually, it doesn't matter. If a memory or thought causes you to feel you did something wrong, just go ahead and write it down. Just hang out just gently with those thoughts. We're not getting into fixing ourselves or being mad or anything. Just write it down. Don't worry too much whether you've got it all, whether it's right. These are just things that bother you because you feel you did something wrong. Okay? I'll give you some time to do that. Okay, so you have 2 lists. Now, if you think of something that really belongs on the first page, the one where you're listing how others have made you feel ashamed, you can move it over there, no problem. You can add something, you can cross it off. And then vice versa. If you think of something that really belongs better on the ways that you feel ashamed of your own actions, then you can move it over there, add it, cross it off, whatever you need to do. You can think of it like cleaning out a drawer full of rags that you're going to sort into 2 piles, right? The ones that are yours and then the ones that came from somewhere else. And you're going to lay them out and see where they go. And as you're writing the things that have made you feel ashamed, if you tip over into any kind of mental attack on yourself, just pull back from that. Writing these things down is something that you're doing to change your life so that you can feel good about yourself. Facing doubts and the things we regret is the way out of shame. It's positive. You're doing something very wholesome and responsible for yourself and for everyone you encounter, really. Hiding from that vague sense of shame is just a way to feel bad and be stuck. And you being stuck doesn't really do anyone any good. So don't use this to attack yourself, all right? Go ahead and take these 2 pieces of paper, 1 in each hand, and just hold them a minute, just lightly in your hands. And this represents your good intentions to be freer. And you might do this exercise again sometime, or you might sit down after this video is over and keep going. But for right now, you've named a few things that make you feel ashamed on 2 pieces of paper. And I want you just for a moment to focus on the other people list and just read it over. Okay? It may not be pleasant, and just read it over. See how you feel about that. Is it good to write it down? Is it unpleasant to read it? I want you to just appreciate that you've got those shame items like out of your mind and onto paper, and that's progress. So take that piece of paper, set it down, and just say, okay, all right? And then sit for a moment, eyes open or closed, and let your attention come over to the list of things that you feel that you've done, the me shame, all right? The things that you've done that caused you to feel ashamed of yourself. So maybe you said something sharp to someone. That's pretty common with CPTSD. Maybe you've let some aspect of your life get messy, something about your health or your money or your relationships, and that's also very common with CPTSD. It's hard to avoid, but there comes a time, and this may just be that time for you, that you take some steps to stop making those mistakes or to clear up any hurt feelings that you may have caused. So you wrote 2 or 3 things down. If you have more, that's fine. Whether or not the things you wrote are really true or not, you don't really have to know right now. Whether the list is incomplete doesn't matter. Let's just assume there's going to be more as time goes by. But this is your good work to try to bring your awareness to things that you've done or said that you think maybe you don't feel right about. And that is what good people do. They reflect on their own actions periodically to see if there are ways that they might heal that, if there's a sore point, if they need to amend a hurt that they caused another person. So just know that you're doing something very positive, all right, for yourself and everybody who comes into your sphere. What you might notice is that there's one item on the list of things you've done that you are today in a position to improve. Maybe you could take care of something that you've been delaying on, or you could apologize to somebody you've been avoiding, or you could make a decision to stop a self-defeating behavior that made it onto your list. You don't have to choose anything, or if you do, it doesn't have to be the biggest thing on the list. But if you can find one small action that you can take today to start clearing that list, it might even be to take something off your list because you realize you didn't do anything wrong and you don't actually feel badly about it. But you are doing something very good here, and so I want to give you a big virtual hug just for being willing to do it. Even if you have no idea what you're going to do about any of this shame, you don't have to know that yet. You've just written it down, and it's going to come to you gradually, day by day. All you have to do is keep this with you, look at it every day, and take a small action. Just keep chipping away at it. And soon you'll find that you feel a lot more lighthearted. The less shame you feel, the easier it is to clear up more items on the list. So small steps taken daily help you chip away until it's very short or gone altogether. Now, what about the other people list? You can keep that one with you too for a while. And if you like, you can add to it, you can change it, you can cross things off. You'll find that some things just fade away once you've given your attention to them. But the main thing that's going to cause things to drift off of this list is the work you do on this list, on the things that you feel. And that's the secret of losing shame. By working on the stuff that you actually needed to resolve, all this free-floating shame that you're sort of vague about other people judging you, maybe there's something really terrible about you, it just tends to drift off. Okay? The list gets shorter, it's lighter, and soon it's gone. So you're a good person for facing these things. And one thing that you can do to support yourself in this process of inner house cleaning is to use my daily practice. If you haven't learned it, these are two techniques. It's a writing technique and a simple form of meditation that I teach in a free course. And I'll put the link to that below so you can access that if you want. But this is something I share as much as I can because these are the techniques that I use twice a day to just calm stress, to lower the PTSD symptoms, and to get more clarity. The daily practice is kind of like WD-40. It's, that spray you put on rust. It loosens things up where you used to feel stuck or hurt, and it makes way for fresh new ideas to come in, and stuck spots just tend to dissolve. If you want to learn a little more about the daily practice before you take the course, you can check out this video right here, and I will see you very soon.